But
Don't hold the microphone
no,
too
but
tight.
it's all good. It's all good. I keep it for me and for you as well.
Yeah, thanks. Where are we heading?
We're heading to Hawaza House.
How do you-
Hawaza House. So this is like the place here, this neighborhood's name is Hawaza. So its reputation of this place is pretty arty. It's like the start to get like more and more like rich people coming in. So the rent used to rise a little bit since the end of the COVID. But the background of this area is to be like a place for workshop and artists. And the place we are going is called Awaza House. This is like I like to call it like a recreation center. Some other people can call it a squat. It used to be here.
What's up, guys? What's up, world?
My narrativizing mind is very active.
It's this invisible frame of reference that you carry in your head.
Life presents all sorts of adversity, and some adversity doesn't feel like adversity. It's sneaky.
Could I interview you for my space gas?
What the hell is going on here?
You play on the action?
I'm gonna say yeah. So camera rolling, action.
Less.
Kampai.
I saw the. Kampai.
Kampai.
I saw this advertisement on the train from Osaka. I was like, oh shit, it's working. I want a beer.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
This
I like that one.
gold. And chicks with one girl with absolutely perfect skin and another guy with absolutely perfect skin.
Welcome to Japan.
Thanks, man.
It's even worse in Korea.
I mean, I think it's photoshopped, right? We both
Yeah,
know
it
how to
is.
do that. Smudge the stuff, add some color, smudge it around.
Yeah,
make it
just like smooth it. Yeah.
maybe add some lighting effects. Yeah.
Definitely.
So I was looking to do something in Japan, and I just arrived to Osaka. It had been a day, and I ran into Anthony, which is a beautiful time and story and a great reconnect. You might not remember this. I tried to explain it to you at a cafe. I got maybe date raped in Vietnam. Not raped, but a drug. And my brother's like, dude, why'd you drink so much? I'm like, bro, trust me, I can handle the beer, but like I had half. And you were there to help. You were a motorcycle rider, and I ended up like latching and holding onto your back like you were my daddy. And I'm like, thank you so much, as I was losing the ability to move or speak, and you drove me home. So that was one of the starts of how we met in Vietnam, like 8 years ago. Then we did a little bit of driving together, and then you'd always fall behind because you were getting into photography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing photography at that time.
And I think I was practicing French with you. Like, I mean, I could speak French, but yeah, I was happy to speak French. My brother couldn't, and there was another guy, I think, an Australian guy named Elijah. He was also huge.
I don't remember this.
Yeah,
I do remember
you
this
were
guy.
falling behind a lot. We might have lost you on the first day.
Yeah, I think, but there's something because I think at that time I was with a friend as well. I think because we met in Phong Na. I think when we met it was in Phong Na, and then I was with her until like we went to Hashang together. I think it was pretty cool.
I was just in Vietnam too, right? I left India.
Yeah.
Once I get back to Canada, I'll have gone around the world again.
Again.
And once I get back to, when I arrived to India, it was just too polluted. Could only handle like 5 weeks. Oh yeah, we're in a bar at the moment, which is as we were explaining.
One of the wonderful bar of Osaka. Definitely it is.
The open we here in Japan, there's different levels of respect, which you would know better because you're trying to live here. But yeah, we're chilling in the space together. That's what we're doing.
And I really like this idea of like when we were talking about like different habits and different culture and how they fit in the thing. Your conversation.
It's real talk happening in the moment because of what's going on. Yeah. It's crazy how we're back on again. Here's a noise for editing. But Yeah, cameraman just said it's sick. We were talking about the respect thing here in Japan, and it's crazy how much it influences like even me. I just got here and I'm just down with it quite quickly.
So actually, I'm curious. So how do you? Because I think there is like Japan is one of these countries when there is a lot of. But I think Japan is one of these countries where there is a lot of people idealize. You know, everybody got a vision of Japan without never being in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I'm curious to. How do you felt like this respectful thing? Is this something you impose to yourself, or is this something you felt? Like for example, you know, I remember like for me, for example, at the beginning, something I was like, it's like people stopping at the Red Cross. When you have like a very like small street and there is actually like absolutely no car, and you have like 15 people like waiting for the little man to become green.
Yeah.
You don't cross. You just go and you wait. You know?
On the topic, yeah, what you were asking, the respect here is contagious because it's super real. I've even said out loud to some people like. You think don't let this sound anyway, make it sound whatever. Like cartoons and animes are based off of like sometimes real life or real thoughts and real feelings of things. But when you've never actually seen people bow when they go into a door, or the train conductor, before the door opens, he turns around and bows to you. Then suddenly I'm like, well, I don't know. It just rubbed off on me because it's real. And before, I'm like, that's all just ancient stories. People used to bow and be more religious and stuff. But coming from Canada, having very little culture, because we're a mixed bag of things, and we don't want to express one culture more than another, and we want to help accept cultures, but now we don't have culture. It's a bad problem.
There is always a trick. Like we could discuss about this, but there were like the same question I was doing in Australia before. And there was like something like, oh, Australia don't have culture. There is something. There is things they love to do, and they define themselves through these kind of things. It's just like sometimes you don't feel connected to it because it's not because you're not coming from this background, or it's just because like it's not something you're interested in. But like just to get back to what you want to say, so is it your first time in Japan?
Yeah.
All right.
It's been about a week.
And actually, so we met in Vietnam, which is like, to be honest, not too far away, 7 years ago. So I know you traveled a lot. Why you didn't come before?
Oh, to Japan?
Yeah.
I think I heard it was expensive. And as you get older, maybe you actually appreciate when people put effort into things and make things really good. Like what the Japanese do with their cars. And you realize your car isn't breaking because it's a Honda or it's a or your speakers of higher quality because it's Japanese, whatever. And then as you get older too, you're like, things break in your life if they're cheap or whatever. That's a small example. The world just adds up in a lot of different ways, doesn't it? Like a bunch of things. And now I have a half Japanese friend who I guess I made more strongly in Australia before. And then now 8 years later, this is his second time in Japan. So that's a big influence. He's here. He's my best friend. So having him here, that's a huge influence. I do like people who make good things. Air's clean, which I'm starting to love more and more or care about or maybe it's getting more dirty or not. Yeah. And it sounded like it was expensive, but until I had friends that were here and could really tell me that it's not as expensive as you think, like.
And what about, because you know where I want, maybe you know where I want to go, because so let's talk about music.
Yo.
And on your project, the video you had in
done.
Yeah, the video you had.
Never want to
the video you had on YouTube. You know, like I noticed, like you use like a sample from Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
It's like a Japanese animation, and I was wondering if actually if like this trip to Japan was like in deeper connection with you as an artist, that just like coming here because the yen is very low. That's the moment to come to Japan, because the yen is very low. It's true, like at the moment it's inexpensive to come to Japan if you come with Australian dollar or Canadian dollar or whatever it is. So there is this aspect, but I'm curious about like how you link your creativity to this vision of Japan like you had, and maybe like the vision of Japan like you actually like understand. No, you could spend a little bit more time in the country, because there is always like a difference between like what you think of a place and what is a place once you're there. You know? Like, so obviously you didn't go everywhere in Japan, but I was curious to understand if there were a link between like your creativity, the music you do, and something you might find, or something you might think there is in Japan.
Yeah, there's almost two questions in there. Like, so the ghosts and I don't even know where that.
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell.
So that came from a guy who we traded music in the Czech Republic. I think he had lived in Japan or maybe even China and liked anime. And he had the soundtrack and he gave it to me. And when I heard it, I was like, this is just epic. And I'm not a big anime guy.
Me too.
But and people do know that, but I didn't even know that. So one part of what I think you're asking as well is like, if there was already something I'm trying to discover here artistically, and that would be romantic and really cool. Because that is, really romantic when people go on journeys to go learn how to play a djembe, skin the animal, put the skin on, play it for their new album or something.
But bro, this is how I end up there.
In Africa?
No, that's in Africa. No, this is how I end up in Japan.
Yeah, go on.
I came here the first time. So my first time in Japan was like in 2020, I think. In January 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I was living in Australia.
COVID time.
Yeah, working in Australia. And after 6 months working in Australia, I was like, okay, I go for some holiday. And
Yes, sorry. The name of the musician made the.
we met Kenji Kawai. We met like the VO of Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Alex over here is a pro musician and a pro videographer and
pro photographer.
Super sick to meet you guys.
I always forget about it, but like that's one of my dreams, to meet the guy and do a track with him.
I got like the record. I got the record recently of the Ghost in the Shell. It's beautiful.
And I'm very close now, because I start to know people
who know that.
Who know him, So.
But that's amazing, because it comes to the romantic aspect, and because
but sometimes I forget. Really, that's one of my goals, because one of the things is like in Japan, you feel that you are outside of reality. Sometimes. Because it works very, very differently.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have like, until you really handle the language and understand what everybody's saying, there is a kind of like mystery and beauty, and everything seems perfect, and then the first time you can understand the conversation, then it cracks open, and then you need to fall in love with Japan in another way, So I think there is always this cycle, but because you guys traveled a lot, and you were going back to Australia, to connect back to what you were saying, maybe that's what it means to live abroad or live in another place, because you have this like love and hate relationship, because it's like your ideal place, and then because after it becomes the place where you live, and it becomes the everyday life.
But usually it comes from the unexpected. I think it comes from the unexpected. But I'm agree when there is this idea, when there is always like something a little bit deeper. Like for myself, I left France like maybe 8 years ago. And I didn't knew when I was leaving, but I was looking for home. I was looking for a place I could call home. Because I didn't feel like that connection in France and that opportunity in France. And it's like in Japan, I found it. And to come back to what brings me in Japan, it's like, so yeah, I was in Australia.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Came to Japan for a holiday.
I came in Japan for a holiday, and for one only reason. So I start music because of one record, like one album. It's a Modal Soul by Nujabes. It's like
I might know. Say it one more time.
So Modal Soul, so the name of the album by Nujabes. Nujabes, and it's like it's a pioneer of like jazz hip hop, or the idea of jazz hip hop. And unfortunately, he died, I think, in 2008 in Tokyo, like a car accident and something like this. And I always been like since the first time I heard this music, something like unclick inside me, and I was like, there is something I'm going to do with the music. That's the day that after I listened this album, I was like maybe 18. I was in high school, end of high school.
17, 18.
17, 18. I listened this album for the first time, and something get unlocked in my mind. At the same time, I was starting to get connected to music. So it's really like something that happened at the beginning of my relationship with like music, like deeper relationship with the music. And I came to Japan for only one reason: pick up some records. Because the records in Europe at that time, so now there is repress, but at that time this record was like over 200 euro, from the 50 euro. So basically, I came in Japan to pick up like cheap records of my favorite artist. And
in 2020?
In 2020.
Yeah. Okay.
And 2 weeks after I arrived, COVID starts. I wasn't a resident. I wasn't working with the visa in Australia, so border closed. I wasn't a resident. I couldn't go back in Australia. I didn't want to go back in France, so I ended up staying here for 3 years.
Yeah.
End up finding a work. I got the record. I got the record pretty quick. And it's like it's beautiful, and I found my home.
Yeah. And so everyone knows, we can go into details about, like what it was, if it was hard to like maybe stay in Japan for coronavirus or things like that, or, but we are a little short on time, so we're just going to hit some certain topics. Are we 30 minutes in? Is that where we are? We all are busy.
I think we can go for another
18 minutes in.
18?
But
Nice.
from the last beginning.
Yeah,
Okay, we're sweet. And
let's.
oh man,
we could do 4 hours on this.
I know. That's why I brought it up. And this is all relevant to how we reunited again and why we wanted to do this. I was looking for someone to podcast, and also it's so dope that you're into music too.
Yeah.
You have a really sweet agreement with an artist friend, which I think more people should do. Like, I don't know if DJs can do this too. Like maybe, come to their town and do a free DJ show with them, and then you do that for them as well, or play a free jazz show, or do a free comedy set, but you change places with someone who's like up and coming or someone who's good. That's kind of what you're doing with like videography, which is dope. I never heard of anyone who did it until you said it. I was like, that's a great idea.
No, that's wonderful. And so Alex is behind the camera. So we got a deal like 1 week I film him, and the other week he film me. And so the idea come from him. So arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much, Alex. And this is part of the things, like I think it's very important as an artist. And Alex is like, I think it's why it's part of the things, since I met him, it's something I felt and I understand. And I think it's one of the things who can make me call him like one of my best friends. Is like, this is like here in Japan, it's especially foreigner tend to close themselves. They get locked in it's a small community. They don't want to talk with any other foreigner. So they get like they talk bad about tourists, and it's like because it's hard to be foreigner in Japan. So it's like they get all the frustration they got on other foreigner, And Alex is the first one, and till today I think is the only one I know who shares the vibes. He's been living here for more than 10 years, And that's the first one who've been talking to me and being like, you know what? Let's do something. I know someone. Let's come to my event. Let's do something.
How
And
did you
this
guys
is-
meet here? How did you find this place, Alex?
So I was actually coming with a group of friends
Yeah.
that
This underground place at the time with less structure,
Yes.
right?
was a bit more chaotic,
That was really
but
chaos, yeah.
very lovely too, you know. And then I was really, I didn't know what to expect at all, you know. We were coming for a very specific purpose, and then the whole bunch of my friends, you know, we were 5, 6, you know, they started to dance, and then they got drunk, and then they fell asleep, you know, and then we were just both of us at this counter
Yeah.
until 7 in the morning, I don't know, and we were talking about music.
Vibing.
And I remember because I was playing that night, and I was on this coach, but he wasn't this coach, but he was. I was there, and I saw like 5 French guys coming, and I was exactly this kind of foreigner I just described. You know, like I saw other French people, and I was like, oh fuck. So I shut my mouth, I stay on the side, and then I played, and the guy just had like the very good vibes. You know, like very very good vibes, and I didn't talk with Alex first. But as he said, all the ones all went to sleep somewhere on the tatami, and so we end up talking together. And I remember I played Born Sleepy. Yeah, and this is how we connect with like some track I played, and we talk until like 5, 6, 7, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about his music, and our relationship to music, and our experience in Japan. And from this connection, like it was like the seeds we planned there, and this project, you know, of doing video and stuff like this is like the way. It's like some of the result of this is a plant to start to grow up as a strong tree, and now he's making branch, you know.
It's
And
funny
I
though.
remember that he unlocked something in me, because it was like during COVID.
Yeah.
And at that time, I always wanted to do a solo album.
The bear.
But as you know, making an album is like writing a book. You know, writing a chapter, it's easy. But then making something that makes sense all together, you know, that's another story, you know. And I've been doing tracks all my life, but I've never tackled the album, many tracks or several tracks that make sense together and can hold the length of it, you know. And I was like pushing and pulling, you know, push and pull, you know, like remixing it, you know, like changing the edit and stuff like that. And then like probably doing 2-hour in loops, it was like fucking release it. Get it, you know,
Get it done.
don't be afraid. Because he has a fantastic heart, you know. So he always dig inside of you and he look at you, cool, you know? And he was like, your problem is not your music. The problem is that you are this. And I just had to like fucking like remove the fear, you know, because like when you work, I was working 3 years. When you work 3 years on an album, you're like, is it ready or not? You know, and you're at the end you don't even know if you're like pushing back for the release because you wanna, you know, do this like little things on this hi-hat and stuff, but like that nobody's gonna hear. But if you don't do it, you feel like you haven't done your best. And also because I made a promise to myself. I'm like, I don't give myself any timeline. I release it when I feel it's ready. And I was actually releasing it and knowing it's ready was like the heart of the topic of our discussion. When do you know that something is ready to be released? And there is we can spend
That's a whole theory. Yeah,
And
that's a whole.
Actually, and
mushroom.
I'd like to jump on this because let's talk about you a little bit more deeper,
Yeah.
and
I'll ask you a question
on your
after.
project. So I know you're working on
Oh God.
2 different EP.
Yeah.
So and you have 2 different names.
Mm.
You have like Gorilla
Mhm.
and like Super Glue.
Mhm.
And there is also like Super Gorilla, which is like the merger. So we can say there is 3 different projects.
Oh, that's actually acceptable as well. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I would like them to be different. Super Glorilla is the way to force the followers to the same place because I am the same guy. But Spotify will officially be, you know, like the official platforms, they'll have their own spaces, their own album releases and stuff. But for an Instagram tag, Super Glurilla has the word Super Glue and Glurilla inside it. And I just thought, I don't want any more Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts or YouTube accounts. I found a way to put the two names together, and on SoundCloud you can just write Super Glue and Glurilla. Yeah. But the story behind that was COVID. Started getting drunk too much. I was like, I can't do this. Like 2 weeks. Like in the initial panic and full lockdown at homes, and everyone, like, just crazy nonsense. Awful times for people. Yeah, after that I'm like, okay, well, I got a choice here. What do I want to do? I actually now have time, and the more I work on my craft, the less likely I have to go back to a job where in that job I'm going to think about writing music or DJing. So I need to work right now. So let's delete everything that is wasting my time in my Ableton. Delete like 40 tracks. Wow, I have like 110 tracks here. I go through them and I'm like, hang on, these ones are something else. I put them aside. There was 30. Glurilla is what it became. I'm like, these are their own breed of music coming from Australia, and a lot of it was written in Vietnam, and maybe even 2 or 3 of the tracks were literally written in Vietnam that are being released soon. Yeah, I just shouted out on Facebook. I'm like, can someone give me an animal name that involves the word glue? And I saw Glurilla, and I was like, that's the best one. So, like, there was a bunch, and they're all just garbage. Yeah, I wanted some sort of beast of a guy. And I have a background of playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And loving it. Loving being in a whole other world with dragons and, I don't know, trolls, berserkers. There's some atmospheres in there that are just, they feel like the gameplay of you being on an open field as a Tauren druid, which I'm making the videos, and I keep getting this recurring when I go to bed at night. I can see one of the videos is going to be like a Tauren druid, and like the veins of him, I'll clear those out, and then I'll put a background of something trippy, like moving lights. So it looks like the veins are just like moving lights through him. Use some smoke and make it just like come out of his nose on the drop, like as if it's cold outside and he's like exhaling out of his nose. A really big close up of a fucking Tauren druid.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Probably use AI to design the Tauren druid, or like use photos of. I could use my old character, but they're not clear enough, I think. But anyway.
So
I have produced, though, as Super Glurilla mixtapes, because they are a combo of Super Glue tracks and Glurilla tracks together. And so I have on YouTube Super Glurilla mixtapes, and they are, because I don't quite have enough brand new music at a certain tempo, so that and some Super Glue stuff from the past kind of sounds like Glurilla. He was hinting. He was there.
But still, so then, you know, like, because you're working on 2 EP at the moment.
Yeah.
So this 2 EP, is it coming from like this cleaning you did in your project when you were like, okay, so I have like 40 different projects more like that. So they go this vibe, and they go that vibes. And then so it ends up you have like 2 different EP. It's just like basically going through who you've been during like this time, because like for this 2 EP, like we are talking about, like you start producing them, like the first one of this track, it's like years ago.
Australia, Melbourne.
So it was like
before Vietnam, 9 years ago.
So 9 years ago.
Yeah, I remember the bedroom. I went to an Afro glitch. Sorry, that's more what I want to call my stuff. I went to a tribal house night, and these guys, they played tribal house music, but then they had drummers at the same time at Section 8 in Melbourne, chain fence place beside somewhere downtown, and the vibe was, it was packed, chain link fence, absolutely packed, super tribal, just tribal house, but then there's like 3 African drummers playing at the same time. African chicks' asses, afros, like Australians.
So just for the record, you're from Canada, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you were already traveling at the time now.
Yes. And yeah, I made it in, and I was like, even though this isn't perfectly the rhythms I like, this is undeniably like everyone's dancing, and this is what I like. I like when people are losing their mind because they're like animalistically having a great time becoming animals on the dance floor, like tribal beats.
That's interesting because I'm gonna jump on something else because so there is this aspect of you who goes through using the music to get out of the and like the lion we have inside, you know, like. But at the same time, I saw on your SoundCloud you had like a 20 or 30-minute mixtape for yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So where does this duality come from, you know?
All right, so the beats were house music all night, and that bothers me, and I like trippier hip-hop beats, so then I made Tribal Glitch. I went home nearly maybe just a week later, or that weekend, I made a hip-hop beat and put tribal chanting on it, and it was the origin of Tribal Glitch for me. And like what I started making a lot of that, and that's where those 30 tracks came from. Then when I had that's been inspiring me up and even till this day. Sometimes I'm like, let's make a Glorilla track, and it is me, and it's hard not to speak in the third person when I do it. But I produce like this history of the thing. I don't know a lot of people who do it either. That's why I made up Tribal Glitch. It's hip hop bass beats, but it's glitch hop because it uses synthesizers from drum and bass or dubstep, but then it's tribal, so it's Tribal Glitch. And yeah, there's no genres like it. There's a few guys that are close and they make select tracks, but anyway, the meditation stuff.
Yes,
during COVID. Some soft girls being super nice, and making, instead of just constantly trying to have dance floor bangers, which dance floors were really shut down. And I had just started breath work and yoga actually, because I was trying to feel better instead of drinking. I did workouts, breath work, yoga every day, and then produced music because we were getting minimum wage from the government because we were all locked in our houses, but I could go outside. Yeah. I made, these ladies suggested, they're like, can you just make me an alarm to wake up to? Or can you, and then that just got me kicking. I was like, oh yeah, these alarms are so fucking repetitive. I can make something way more beautiful. And then I started making that, and then I'm like, wait, what about binaural beats? I heard about those things. How do you make those? Binaural beats. And then what about something cool that for yoga? What would I like to hear for yoga? If I do yoga and I produce, let me make yoga music. And then I just did that. And then I had a whole chunk of stuff. I put it out all at the same time, and I said, this is free. This is a COVID relief package. If you like it and you want to send me $5, I'll mail you a personal letter with a sticker in it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. $5.
But I like the vibe because it's always like
It's free though, and I sent it to every person on Facebook over the course of like 200 days or whatever. I don't know. No, sorry. You can only send 50 different people a message a day, and there's like 2,000 friends. So
that's interesting because so would you say, because from what you said, like every time you've been through music, it's been like in reaction to something. So would you say like you use music as a way to express like a way to react to the world, to what you say, or do you use it to say something which is unsaid? Because on your vibes there is like two different things. There is the fact like, okay, I've seen stuff and I've seen things who actually like really touch me and I want to influence me to express. And at the same time, there is this aspect where there is also like this like what do you say, tribal
glitch or
tribal glitch?
Tribal world beats. People say ethnic, but that's like not very descriptive.
But this is really unique. So you have like kind of the both aspects. There is the fact like you took something, you react to it, at the same time the way you react it is so unique, like you create your own little world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, something. Well, what got me into writing music in the first place was hearing beats and wanting the drop. Like I'd hear a drop and be really excited, but I'd hear the drop and I would just be like, it should have sounded like, and my brain told me. And then I'm like, man, I just have to learn how to make music. because I'm gonna take this very song that I just heard, and I heard it, but then it took me. I don't like teachers, and I do it all myself, and it's long-winded. It took me like 6 years to make anything good.
And
which is way slower than a guy who does like a 3-month intensive program and like catches up to where I was in
yeah, but you learn it
6
differently.
years.
But then
Yeah.
you want, yeah. Hi. Yeah.
The host.
But so actually, like, it brings me like to the next part. Let's see, like, how much are we on time?
36 minutes.
How much?
36.
36 minutes.
Okay, we'll wrap it up in 5,
Say, let's
or as you please.
let's another 10 minutes. It should be. If we have another 10 minutes, is it alright to have like 20-minute set, like 15-minute, 20-minute set?
Of course, yeah. I don't know if the light's gonna hold, but.
All right. Because then.
The light
What
goes
is your
out.
Instagram account?
Super glue Rilla. Yeah.
So on Instagram, right?
Super glue and then RILLA. Yeah.
All right.
Super glue Rilla. Yeah, man, we should definitely connect. And just by the way, like we've just reconnected, though we have a familiarity, like even on the street.
Yeah.
Like it's this core kind of. When you spend time with people drinking or living, I call it love.
So there is a little bit of this.
There's
This
little
is
love.
like, but bro,
I was like, I love this guy, but like, wait, who the
we
hell is
reconnected
this?
from like 7 years of like nothing, no news. I was following what you were doing.
Nice.
I was following what you were
The
doing.
feed gave you
Like
what
the
you wanted.
yeah,
It
because the
knows
thing
what
is
you
like
want.
I thought like to be honest, I thought like very inspiring, and I thought like very courageous as well because like a lot of people use SNS like social media for the fame or for promoting themselves for a certain way, and it's always been interested. But I could feel like through your content was like your 1 minute talking every day, like it was a little. It's not like more than this, but it was like honest. It was like truth, and that's why like the concept of true talk also like very connect with me, and actually like to make the transition to the next question I had for you. But so you say you've been like self-taught yourself around music and stuff like that. Or did you? Because I know you got your home studio, like a studio in Mexico.
I did. It was a very Mexican dude. That was a Mexican built studio. I went out on the streets. I found wood. I cut fallen trees that were hard and dry. Cut them to the length to make a bunk bed to give myself a bunk bed.
That's a lot.
And I was like borrowing drills off people and just buying screws. They were only 10 cents, but yeah, I didn't want to buy. I didn't have drills or anything, and I was hand sawing. And I found someone had polluted a bunch of insulation, but it was actually in good condition, and I just used it to like soundproof the room. Dude, I had a girl over once, and she's like, "Dude, you're fucking crazy." I'm like, "You can leave if you want." She's like, "Yeah, I'll stay." But I covered it with like cheap tapestries from a clothing store. Tried to make it pretty. Dude, it was like a jail cell where I lived. It was a small concrete door and fucking bars, dude, because they don't want anyone to break in. That's where I lived at the time. I didn't have any money. I was just going to DJ in Mexico, which she made $50 a set. And I was just running out of money, renting a cheap place. But I was like, I have a lot of time. I had all the time in the world.
And would you say like this is like during that time like you learn a lot about like sound engineering, and when you challenge yourself about what you said, like the work you did with the acoustic and stuff like this, because all of these things, like it's basically some people, like it's like for doing a little bit of engineering myself, this is a lot of practice, this is a lot of dedication, this is a lot of work. Like it's something you have to learn, something you have to understand.
Yeah, to do it entirely properly,
Yeah.
to master the acoustics in the room, like what you're going to do with your studio and stuff, it was not that. But it was very much helping dampen the room from reflection,
And
is what I was just aiming for.
And would you say like
Trying to quiet the outside so I could be loud inside and not hear the outside.
yeah.
Yeah, the transaction. And it helped a lot because the place was just a jail cell, if you can imagine when someone shouts in a jail cell and how it reflects all the way down the hall. Like, it was but this is where it was the cheapest place in the town. Yeah, because all the more nice places have inflated to like nearly San Francisco prices.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
900
Mexico.
USD. So I was spending 300 USD in
And-
Mexico, which is so much.
And did
for
you
Mexico.
did you work with like did you work on your project, or you work with also artists and stuff like that? Because I think I remember you work with people as well, like you record people and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, this is so funny what people saw like from afar in 1 minute videos. Yeah, some people have more context. And what I did learn, by the way, is you got to be like baseline pretty comfortable and pretty solid. Like if you're running out of money stressed, it's really hard on everybody, even a musician who's free going and stuff. So I learned that more. Like don't be scraping bottom. It doesn't help because there's a bit of an extra stress that bothers you all day and all night. But I put up flyers in town, and they were cool flyers. I was like, does anyone want
Do someone want any track for my home studio? Bro, come in.
Yeah.
Bro,
DJ
that's
lessons,
amazing. Okay.
Recordings, production lessons. Yeah, it's a picture of me with a backpack walking by a train station, headphones on, that someone took in Australia, and it's cool. Someone hit me up. Dude, only one person hit me up from the flyers, and then another girl knew because I posted on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just a couple. And then collaborative DJ sets. But not a lot of people came into my... Dude, the studio ended up being like... It was nearly like... Just like an airtight fucking super... Under the bunk bed kind of recording booth.
Oh, I love it, man. Bro, it's so cool. They're just like...
Fucking stupid.
No, but
It got so hot in there.
Yeah,
I would
but-
freeze one of those giant...
I think, you know,
bottles
this
and then
is...
hang it from the roof, and you could feel the frozen... Like,
But-
it was like the ice
But
cube.
bro, but this is...
And I was still sweating.
This is something I found like beautiful because I've been traveling for a long time as well, and this is.
This is a guy with like no money. This is a guy like
but the thing is like whatever, you know, like you always find a way to make music.
Yeah.
And it's I like and sometimes, you know, like I remember like so when I was in because when I arrived in Japan.
Yeah.
For the first time, so it was like 4 years ago, something like this. I came, you know, I get locked up with my with COVID, but I came with like clothes for like 1 month.
Yeah.
And equipment for 1 month. I went with a small backpack, and I had to live with that. And all my stuff, equipment for making music and stuff like this, everything, still in Australia. So later, you know, I have a very good friend. Thank you, Louis. Who send me everything back on our fee. You know, like he paid for it. But I had nothing. And still, you know, like I found a way to make music. I had like, I don't know if you know, like the PO33. It's like, I don't remember. It's like by teenage engineering. It's
what
like,
does it do? Is it a beat pad?
it's like basically it's like that size, the size of a small calculator, and it's like there's a small sampler and a beat pad. And I end up like recording like a full video of a track, like somewhere in Osaka in a park with like my phone for recording and like this little like fucking calculator things, you know, to make music. And that's the thing I really love. Like when I left France, like I left France because I had my home studio, so like fully equipped, and I had some issues. Some people tried to break in, so I had to move. Couldn't find some apartment because it was pretty expensive. So I saw all my studio get like split, some at my parents' home to get saved, some at some friends to give some help. And I was feeling like, oh, you know, I lost my connection with the music. I lost something. And I was so wrong. I was so wrong because if you really love something, and I think it goes with like your experience you had in Mexico, if you really love something, whatever much money you got, or it's happened, you always can find a way to reconnect with it. And that's amazing. I've been on the road for like 8 years. I obviously I had like long period when I didn't produce or something like that, but I always been doing music or being in contact with the music, whatever what it was. Yeah. And I always found a way connect with the right people and stuff like that. So I think, you know, like getting linked to something you really like the passion vibe, you always find this way. And I find it amazing what you say about about Mexico, because this is exactly what it is. This is like, it gives you a vision, you know? When you love something so much, it gives you a vision. You went to a bunch of stuff and you were like, oh, that would be like the acoustic for my studio, and then you spend hours. You spend hours trying to make it perfect and doing tests and stuff like this. And this is what we love. And this is what we love, and this is all we learn. And I think this is really beautiful. And it comes to that it's connection you got with things, you know, like, and I just found it beautiful. So I want to share it with you, because I had the same things. Which place I was, I always found my way to find like a small machine in a second-hand shop, or like doing shit, you know, like for making music.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know what it is, but comparison definitely thief's joy, because you're like, you understand, and our minds probably work enough to work in a studio. We just haven't learned maybe some master level things because we haven't been around it, but we're certainly intelligent enough to use it and stuff. So like where I'm saying I could rob myself, because at the end of the day, making that zone out of like $50 and just time, probably $30 to make my room like kind of pretty and into this like new studio out of nothing. I would self-criticize and be like, but I've seen on Instagram and stuff, and I've been in studios and universities.
But then, you know, I think we all come from there. You know, I'm gonna take the example of our beautiful cameraman,
Alex.
Yeah, Alex. I think so he's doing like mastering engineering to like a high level, and when I say high level, it means like it treats your ears. So, but it doesn't come from nowhere, you know, like, and for knowing him, I knew we start in front of like big speaker with not a very good quality in a French forest, listening to Psytrance and Tribe. So, you know, we all come from somewhere, you know, like, and but that's the way we built it.
I lost a lot of my audition.
And still no.
I fucking regret.
And still no, you still listen more. You can you can still hear more than me, you know, like. So it's what I mean, you know.
No.
He goes through a process. No, but he goes through a process, you know, like it goes with time as well, you know, like there is things I did in the past, like your experience in Mexico. Maybe today you won't do it again, but if you didn't have it before, you wouldn't be the same person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Don't let me tell you, because I do want to say there's two sides, and it's too bad the other side does exist. The self-judgment from comparison.
Yeah.
Social media can certainly help with having a view of comparison.
Yeah.
But the other part of me was actually super pumped when I finally layered insulation above my roof with thin fucking rope and sealed it to the wall. Like, no, it was hard, because it's just so much tasking work and annoying and stupid. And then I'm just getting hot. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? But when I finished it, I was like, this is sick. This actually works. Everything's quieter now. This is amazing. And so it was a really good time, actually. And I guess that's, like we said, we always love it. But when you said it, I got jealous, because I'm like, I don't always love it. It's always like, sometimes it's really hard. And I think it's because of the comparison. Because this is along the road and the process, and I learned a lot. And I mean, that's never stopped. There's always been whatever I've done the whole way, because music's on my mind. The whole way is a part of it all. And those are just funny, weird moments, which you create by getting the hell out of your comfort zone.
But this is like... But the thing is, like, you know, so there is always different way to see stuff, but there is, so music will be what there before us and will be there after us, you know, like, so we can see the things like, okay, we do music, or we can see the things as, okay, music, let us do something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I was going to say. When you say you planted a seed for your relationship, I was like, but wait, there's some other foreign entity called music that actually magnetized you together. It wasn't you guys that you did plant a seed yourselves after music like pulled you guys together. and potentially pulling all of us together, really.
But this is something, at least, but maybe this is something to share because, talking about seeds, I always think, like planting the seeds is one of the most important things. So it's, how did you say? I think you found your way doing what you love. So I know it might be I know not everybody got the opportunity to do what he loves because some things, are expensive. Some things, are hard to reach, but at least, on the way. Thing is it's not about reaching it right now, or about thinking about something who's gonna end one time, but on the way, in your way, bro, that's all you find, all the beautiful things. I can talk by my experience is I'm dreaming. My goal is to open a rehearsal studio here in Japan, in Osaka. That's why I came back here. Still last year, they hired a beautiful visa made for me, perfect, and they throw it away, make it unreachable right now. So it's just but these things happen, but still, I'm not giving up, and I'm not gonna give him up because that's the thing. There is where you wanna go, and when I'll be there, I'll be happy. And it's just gonna be the top of the mountain, and then there is other mountain. But the way, mate. The way, mate, it's on the way. You get your motivations out on the way. You found your determination. To be here at the moment, I spent 3 years digging shit in Australia, and bro, it's worth it. Every fucking minute is worth it because I'm where I want it to be. On the way, I got beautiful experience I can share with other people, and my line always being the same. Mm-hmm. And since I'm decide, okay, I want to do what I love. Whatever it takes, I take the time, I spend the energy, but I stay on this path to do what I want. And whatever I reach this goal or not, I made a path for me, and as long as on it, I feel, life shows me okay, you're at the right place. Mm. It's you're on the road, and suddenly all the green lights, and you're just driving there, and you're all right, cool, all right. And I don't know if you had this kind of feeling when you're doing what you love, even if obviously you get through the same issue, but having this motivation, it gives you actually the determination and the vision to see the stuff differently. It means even so many shits happen, you don't see it as so many shits. You just say, okay, it's just a little bit delay before I do that. And doing it with your energy, you get one or another opportunity is coming, and one other opportunity is coming. And you saw going that way to go there, and finally you go well, but you go to the same point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I can relate, and there's a lot of, we can just go so deep with it. I think a lot, so in a way, we never made the green lights themselves. And I brought the example before, I didn't even choose to like music so much. I don't know why I do, but I just do.
You do.
Yeah. Ripper in this direction.
Yay!
This sort of. And some people before me made some music, and then there's people after them that are making music that's even tighter and closer to what I like. And then you start making your own, and it's a whole journey why we like the music we like in the first place. And then for it to take me to Mexico to live in a prison to make myself a little studio is just fucking nuts.
Yeah,
I can explain that because I grew up liking bass, and then it took me there. It's good and bad, and I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what other people are doing. I hope they enjoy it as much as they're doing. And when I get to make bass and play bass, I feel super, super great. And I hope people get that feeling at some point, because it just feels like it's the right thing to do. It feels like you're just in a meditation. You're just doing what.
And I think this is something this is something very beautiful about music. You can find it with a lot of art, so obviously but this is something I feel it's like it's like a transfer of energy because you love and you care what you're doing when you're doing music. And basically, like, what you're sharing is, in a way, is love and care. So whatever you're doing, when you're doing music, it's just like, it's about yourself, and you allow people to connect with something they never heard before because they come from your life.
The tribal house music I felt in that place and that energy I felt, that I was like, I'm having an explosive amount of fun. When I go back and produce music, I'm trying to make something that is explosively that much fun so people can hear it. Yeah. Are there any other topics we gotta hit?
No, actually, that's the right moment to listen to what you're doing. No, I want to listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna show a little bit of one of the EPs. I haven't decided. I was thinking of play the Super Glue EP or
Just a mix of the two.
Okay, we'll see.
Let's see. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's listen to some music.
Thanks,
and have some fun. Alex, you're the best.